pulling back the curtain a bit on European security, we want to move past the big headlines, get into the actual operational reality. We're diving into this recent Europe East Today report, looking at border vigilance after the post-Zapad redeploy period, as the source calls it.
Yeah, and that's a really key point. We're not hunting for crisis flashpoints today. This source material, it gives us this very detailed, almost, routine view of what's happening day to day. The goal here is to understand the ongoing work, the maintenance that keeps things stable. The report puts it really well. Security is quiet by design, not luck.
That framing is fascinating, isn't it? It's not about reacting to emergencies anymore. It's like, okay, the goal is this long-term, steady state of defense. They've built these routines to last.
Absolutely. It really shows that vigilance isn't just a temporary thing. It's structural now. It's embedded. It's not reaction. It's anticipation. Planning for the long haul.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Starting with the specifics. The current security picture, maybe focusing on the air first. The report kicks off noting something pretty reassuring. No fresh allied airspace breaches overnight, which suggests current protocols are working.
They are working, and that success comes down to, military discipline. We see that the QRI rotations, that's quick reaction alert, the jets on standby, and the AWACS surveillance flights are holding steady, particularly on the Baltic and Carpathian arcs. Those rotations are just the constant hum of air defense now.
Right, and with that kind of persistent presence, the rules of engagement need to be rock solid. What's the source saying there?
It's very clear and, importantly, unchanged. The standing ROE rules of engagement, the legal framework for using force, it remains shoot if inside ROE. Simple as that.
So the message is consistent, lines are firm, enforced 24/7.
Exactly. No ambiguity.
Yeah. Okay, that clarity is vital. But here's where I find it gets really interesting. How are they dealing with threats you maybe can't see on standard radar? I'm thinking electronic warfare, specifically the GNSS jamming or spoofing.
Yeah.
GPS signals and the like.
Yeah, that's a huge part of the picture now. Air defense isn't just about kinetics anymore. It's the invisible domain, too. And they've actually mapped out a pattern, these short spoofing incidents. They remain most likely sunset to late evening. They know the typical window for these attempts, so they can anticipate.
Which means the civilian side has had to adjust too, right? Aviation, trucking, they're not stopped, but they're working differently.
That's right. The source mentions they're using degraded mode SOPs, standard operating procedures, basically as a routine precaution now.
Wow. So resilience in action, really.
It really is. It's become a managed risk built into daily logistics, which brings us down to the tactical level, thinking about rapid reaction, especially against drones.
Yeah.
Counter UAS.
Right, and the standardization there caught my eye. A circulating cross-capital TTP pack. TTPs being tactics, techniques, and procedures.
That sharing means everyone's expected to operate pretty much the same way, regardless of which nation is responding. High uniformity.
And the speed needed is intense.
Oh, yeah. The timeline goal is detect, decide, defeat in under minutes. That needs constant updates, training, which is why, on the business side, ministries are favoring framework contracts over one-offs.
So buying the ongoing capability, not just a one-time batch of equipment.
Exactly. Sustainment.
Which leads us nicely from operational security to, the financial side. How is Europe actually funding this sustained vigilance now that it's less an emergency, more this huge maintenance job?
Good question. And this is where you see that long-term commitment hit in the books. Those early safe tranches security assistance framework for Europe are now converting into signed purchase orders. And the focus isn't just big shiny platforms, it's sustainment. Sensors, jammers, yes, but also repair spares, and crucially, operator and EW training.
That investment in people and parts, not just hardware, that really signals long-term thinking.
Definitely.
What specific kit is topping the shopping lists, though?
The priorities are interceptors, drone kits, EW sets, and those spares we mentioned, plus significant investment in SHORAD, that's short-range air defense.
The close-in protection for critical sites against drones or low-flying aircraft.
Exactly. Point defense is key.
And the way they're buying has shifted too, from maybe panic buying early on to something more structured.
Yeah, much more structured. The source notes deliveries are now tied to monthly SLAs. Service-level agreements.
SLAs, that sounds very corporate for military procurement.
It does, doesn't it? But it ensures a predictable, rolling delivery schedule. Managed flow, not just hoping a big shipment arrives.
Okay, stepping back again. The macroeconomic picture. Usually security jitters mean market panic. But what about currencies in the region? PLN, HUF, are on.
This is another really interesting point the source makes about resilience. the Polish zloty, Hungarian forint, Romanian leu, PLN, HUF, RON. They're described as broadly range-bound. And what's striking, the FX front ends the short-term currency movements. They apparently key more to EU prints, meaning wider European economic data, than to the security noise we've been discussing.
Wow. So the zloty, the forint, they're basically shrugging off this constant security activity. Does that suggest the markets just see this steady vigilance as the new normal, not an escalating crisis?
That seems to be the interpretation, yeah. It's a pretty powerful sign of confidence, actually. Like the market believes the protocols, the commitment that maintenance job are working as effective buffers.
That stability should translate down to the ground level too. So let's shift there. Mobility. What does all this mean for people, for goods actually moving across these borders every day?
Right, the ground view. The consensus is stability, but with honest buffers built in. Belarus crossings are called near normal, but this is the key. The advice is plan plus 10, 20-minute buffers.
So near normal with an asterisk. That 10-20 minutes is the vigilance tax baked in.
You could call it that, just acknowledging potential checks or delays.
And the Ukraine corridors, obviously critical.
They're listed as stable. Periodic inspections happen, seem manageable, and humanitarian lanes get consistent priority. Airport operations are also ops normal, but they have their NOTAM playbooks ready.
NOTAM's notices to air missions, those warning bulletins for pilots.
Exactly. So playbooks are ready for any strike tempo blips. Prepared, but not panicked.
Preparedness without panic. That seems to be the running theme here.
It really is. Which brings us neatly to this SCALE Insights framework the report uses. It helps organize the real-world impacts for different stakeholders. This is where it gets very practical for, people listening.
Okay, let's break down SCALE, starting with S stakeholders. Who needs what?
It's a diverse bunch. Residents, the source says, want crisp need-to-act pings. Basically, tell me only if I really need to do something different. Logistics companies need those predictable ETAs, hence the buffer advice. Mayors worry about rumor control. And SMEs, small and medium businesses, they're watching things like fuel insurance costs. Each group needs tailored info.
Right, which leads to C constraint flip. How information is delivered matters, quality over quantity.
Precisely. The principle is clarity volume. Intense situations, constant updates just create noise, anxiety. So the idea is fewer, sharper alerts are better. Prevents alert fatigue, makes people pay attention when it counts.
Makes sense. Now, A is for analogy. The report uses a strategic analogy for managing this whole eastern flank.
Yeah, and it's a really good one. The flank is treated like winter ops, slow, layered, disciplined.
Winter ops. Okay, I get that. Not rapid advances, but steady, deliberate effort, dealing with friction, digging in.
Exactly. It implies sustained effort, anticipating hardship, not flashy maneuvers.
Yeah.
Deliberate grinding.
Slow, layered, discipline. That really sums up the doctrine we're seeing. And that leads to L layers. What are the layers of response?
The source talks about a spectrum. From the micro level, things like issuing local GNSS advisories or timing NOTAMs just right, small tactical stuff, all the way up to the macro level, alliance credibility, overall deterrence posture, the big political and strategic picture. And the whole system relies on all those layers being maintained, working together.
Okay, finally, E-edge cases. The surprising little details that show just how complex this maintenance job really is. What stood out?
Two specific things were mentioned that highlight the complexity. One was the potential for EW electronic warfare to overlap with medevac corridors. Risking medical flights is obviously a huge concern. The other was debris, false alarms in low-density areas. Sorting out real small threats from just clutter in remote zones is tough.
That really shows the depth needed. Vigilance has to cover every possible, even niche scenario.
It really does.
So this whole report, it really boils down to a strategic choice made a while back, doesn't it? It's not about quick wins. It's about consistency for the long haul.
That's the absolute core message. Steady is the plan. Security is a maintenance job, and the maintenance is working. The whole focus is maintaining those layers, having honest buffers, keeping communication tidy. When you see stability, it's not passive. It's the result of constant, deliberate work.
So for you listening, if you want to stay ahead of the curve, what should you watch? The report gives some pointers in its What to Watch 4872 section.
Yeah, a few key things. First, watch the sequencing of that safe procurement, which capitals announce deals for sensors first, or SHORAD, or munitions. The order tells you about national priorities and delivery speeds.
Also, keep an eye on those Dusk windows. If EW activity or border skirting drones consistently pop up, then that pattern becomes predictable.
And predictability, well, it can be exploited by either side.
Good point.
And finally, don't forget the macro glide. keep watching late-month EU economic data, and especially those front-end moves in the PLN, HUF, and RON, if those currencies keep reacting more to economic news than security stuff. That strongly confirms this resilience, this acceptance of the new security normal.
It really is about watching the routines, the maintenance schedules, not just waiting for the next crisis.
Well, thank you for sharing these sources with us and letting us take this deep dive into the quiet mechanics of sustained vigilance. Keep those layers up, everyone, and keep that curiosity going.